So we're here at Synth Reactor with Nick from Roland. How's it going?
Oh, really good, man. Really good. Amazing show. So,
yeah. And this setup, I've got to admit, I don't have quite as much of a nice backdrop as at my house.
It is really nice. They've done a great job.
Yeah,
Big ups to Thomann.
So we're going to take a look at the System 500 series, mainly because I'm going to have some videos coming up.
That's right.
With the System 500 set up with you. We've got to know each other a tiny bit in the past couple of months.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, I'm always really interested in the people, that make this stuff and that are involved in the promotion. And, you reached out and got in touch with me. You're a modular user yourself. How did that start effectively, without diving right through your whole musical history? What led you to modular effectively? Because we look at your Instagram, and I can link that in the description.
Oh, sure.
You're using a lot of Eurorack yourself.
I am an absolute modular
addict.
Nerd. Yes, addict is the right word. I don't know. I think in your music making, it's a natural progression if you get deep enough. Like at some point, you want to pull things to bits and rewire how it works, and that's kind of what modular lets you to do. And so, kind of, I started out how most people start out, just getting a couple of crappy synths and, a couple of not so great synths, and then
crappy synths. We're not naming them. We say crappy. We're not naming the crappy synths. But just cheaper, less inspiring pieces of
or
gear.
accessible, I think, is the right word. When you're starting out, you don't want to spend a bunch of cash, and then you kind of build up as you go. But at a certain point, if you've gone deep enough, you're like, I wish this did that. And then modular allows you to make this do that. So it's kind of...
And when you realise that for me, I was talking to someone else about this down in the tent outside, that I was patching all my synths in such a way through a patch bay that's very modular anyway.
Right.
I want to run this Roland SH9 through that Korg filter.
Yeah.
But then I've got this mode pedal I want to use. So I'm patching the back in the patch bay. Yeah. Then you just you're staring into this like one new 19-inch rack of nothingness.
Sure.
It's totally disassociated with the gear at the other end. So I think you're right. And there's a natural progression. Yeah. And of course you've got the benefit of working at Roland. So you've got this stuff.
Well, that is, I'm very, very blessed.
Yeah. I actually saw it first from the Moleco side.
Yes.
Having worked in Moleco.
Yeah.
And what I want to do generally is just take a look at it. I'm going to dive into a couple of specific modules in videos I've got coming up. But if we can just generally explore the system to a degree, make some patches, make some sounds. Yeah. We're starting on the top row.
Yep.
This came out a short while back.
So this the top row is the first series. So you touched on Moleco there. I think it's kind of cool. This is a joint project with Roland and Moleco. So we worked on it together. It has very much been a
collaborative process.
And a passion project for a lot of people in the companies.
I would imagine so.
There's a lot of people who are very keen to see a Roland analog modular system come together, and so Moleco.
And I know Josh himself at Moleco, Josh Holly.
I've
Facebook threads about him speaking about Roland System. So I think it makes sense that it was a passion project.
Yes, very much.
So the first row is effectively your rebuilding a synth voice.
Maybe have a talk about the system as a whole, or the two systems as a whole. So they're loosely based upon the System 100 and 700 systems, with a couple of exceptions, which we can get into. But if you viewers aren't aware or aren't familiar with those systems, they are classic, big Roland modular. From the 70s, I think mid 70s they came out, and they're very sought after, very expensive, and very kind of got a very rich sonic.
Yeah, I think famously as well, when the era of hardware came and went, that no one wanted any of this stuff, regarding any analog hardware, and certainly modular. Hans Zimmer bought it by the kilogram, I believe, is the story.
Oh my God.
He bought the Roland 100M. Found some somewhere in some storage, wherever in the world this was. I don't know the tale fully, but that it was, we're pricing it by the kilogram to shift.
Amazing.
And he went, pretty much I'll take it all.
Yeah.
And then, you see his studio, they're working on Batman, and it looks like the building is built on 100M.
Yeah, sure.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of playing a 100M at Huddersfield Uni where I went.
It was actually, I had it was the first modular system I got to touch as well at university, Victoria University, New Zealand, plug. They have an amazing 700 and system, and it blew my mind.
Yeah, the 700 seems to be the super rare one.
Yeah,
I've never touched 700.
Yeah,
but that seems to be the most sought after.
Yeah,
one of the lot. So it pulls in on that heritage.
So
and having heard Moleco's oscillators and filters as well, you straight away know sonically what you're going to get. Effectively pulling on Roland's heritage and the quality that Moleco work at.
Yeah, 100%. And the circuit design is actually pulled directly from, I mean, obviously Roland has a great back catalogue of all of these schematics. And the designs are pulled from those schematics. So they're very accurate to the original.
Yeah, as much as components will allow.
Exactly.
There's a lot of that you can't get hold of.
Sure.
So we should patch something up. I mean, as we follow it through, it's your classic kind of synth architecture, but with the advantage of all the modular points to kind of break the classic kind of patches, as it were. Should we start with a bit of a sequence or something? If you want to make a pattern, I'll start patching the modular.
So we've got the SH01A here, and it's generating a little sequence. The SH01A, if you're not familiar, is our boutique form of the classic SH101 synthesizer. One thing I really like about it is the sequencer. It's really great. Do you have a long patch cable?
Yeah. Quick as well was the 101 sequencer.
Ooh, maybe. Is that the longest?
Let me patch some cables. I think.
Oh, okay, cool.
We'll see what you've got. I'm going to patch up a couple of just like a basic synth voice.
I can just do this. That's fine.
So just to talk through what I'm doing as I'm going, a couple of waves into the filter. We'll go filter 2 up. We'll skip the VCA and we'll go filter straight out into the mixer, and we'll see kind of what that gives us. It's already got a bit of that Wazzo vibe.
Yeah.
Can't promise wonky beats quite to Quentin Dupree's taste, but yeah, perfect. Have we got a gate as well? And we'll get some envelopes going.
Yeah, definitely. These are also our patch cables. They're a really nice patch cable to work with. They are woven, so they're nice and thick.
We were geeking out over patch cables earlier that they are the non-furry fabric patch cables. As sad as this sounds, like a tired old t-shirt you've washed too many times, some of the fabric cables get a little fluffy and...
They do.
It's like belly button fluff all over the modular. I'm not sure I'm into that.
What I really like about these ones, though, is they stick. They're quite nice at staying upright. So if you're patching and you want to still get your hand in there, really handy.
Perfect for an Instagram picture, which, as we know, is more important than any of this.
Right.
That you can get the phone in through the tree of cables.
Exactly.
I had someone say that to me the other day, like, this would be perfect for an Instagram picture, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. So the envelope outputs, this is actually, it's these top rows here, and what you get in the envelope output is these two are the same, and this is the inversed.
Okay, right.
Which actually is quite a handy little setup if you're getting creative. It's quite nice if you're using two voices and you want to, like...
It's almost like a side chain.
Yeah. And if you can pull one thing in and pull something out to fill that gap in exactly the same shape. And then it also gives you macro control, because if you've got the two envelope outputs and the inversion going, and you're just manipulating one ADSR, but it's sending it to 3 different places, you can start to get quite... it's a nice way to perform with just a few controls.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's patch that. So just to walk people through the patch before I put the audio back on, I have a couple of waves into the filter from the oscillator, filter out straight into the mixer, and an envelope being triggered. That's sequencing pitch and gate. And yeah, let's take a quick listen. It's that 100M snap.
That's right, yeah.
So if we swap, let's maybe put a different wave in each side of that filter. We can do this ducking that you mentioned.
Yeah.
But that one can stay in there. That's one of the good things about the original 100M that's followed through to this, is that a lot of the modules are dual.
That's right.
Which is a nice...
Yeah.
Not rare thing, but a nice thing that it's there. So which one's inverted? Sorry, this one.
Yes.
The end one.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you invert that into there, patch audio. If we're in stereo, so we can pan these as well.
Oh yes, and it's a CV addressable pan on the mixer, which is fast if you get those. Which is fun if you get those fast LFOs. Yeah,
let's try it. So 2 sounds, hard left and right. So they're the 2 different behaviours panned, which people will be able to hear maybe a bit better than I can next to one speaker.
Yeah.
I have just one speaker there. But percussive on one side, wide open on the other, which is nice. And then any in-between kind of shape gives... But even without panning them, they're centre detented as well, which is nice. Nice and easy to put in mono.
Yes.
Having both to play with, it's very modular, I think.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
One voice, fairly simple. One oscillator, 2 filters now in this case, 1 envelope and the inverted one. But we've instantly got a couple of sound layers going, which is kind of infinitely more interesting than either one of them on their own.
Yeah. It is really quite easy to patch various voices with this system, and the mixer is really fun for live performance as well. You can really throw the faders, and you've got mutes, which means you can set your mix up and punch in, punch out, if you need to. It's also got a microphone input, microphone preamp, which is handy and kind of rare in the modular realm.
Yeah. So is that just expecting passive dynamic mic?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So it's a preamp. It's not a phantom powered preamp or anything. But just micro line input.
Fine. We got LFO. Perfect.
Yeah.
I want to mix, and again, trying to kind of rinse more out of these voices. Maybe put an LFO in this voice as well.
There's a number of different LFOs within the system, actually.
Okay.
So you've got in the utility module, which has it has the LFO down here.
Let's try this as well. There we go. A bit more range to that one, I think.
And interestingly enough, in the envelope generator, you get an voltage controlled LFO as well.
Okay.
So like you were saying, like there's a lot of duality. There's a lot of dual use for a lot of these modules, and so you're not just buying one module to get one thing. There is quite a bit of flexibility in what you can do with just 1 or 2 modules.
Duality sounds like the worst 90s boy band.
Could be we're going to have a little side project. Duality.
No. I don't know if I'm fit for the
boy band life.
But plenty of LFOs effectively.
Yeah, plenty of LFOs.
We'll mix an LFO and an envelope in this side. It's not going to mix if I don't plug it in.
Yes.
Be aware, nothing happens if you don't plug it in. Wondering where that was.
We haven't got that technology just yet. That sounds awesome.
The newer series
Yes.
brings in, you lose the dual functionality of everything, but of course it's not that much bigger than any one of the given modules. A full synth voice. Now, what's that synth voice built on? Is it these same circuits?
It is. Yes. So it is based loosely upon the 100 M, and it's really cool because you've got an oscillator, filter section, and a VCA in one one module.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to get into that kind of that Roland sound, really cost-effective way of doing it as well. And really, all you need to add is a envelope generator, and you got almost a whole voice.
Yeah.
It's also hardwired. So if you go straight out the output and raise the level, the square wave is hardwired all the way through.
So it's the audio architecture without the modulation still. Yeah, you'd be asking too much of, I think, an envelope and everything else in that.
Sure.
You know, it's just not. It's not going to happen.
This is gate.
Yes, yeah. So we'll still need an envelope, and we'll get a pitch in, key, and we're coming out of just about high, I guess, into modular, and we are.
So you can hear it's running through already without anything plugged into it because of that hard wiring.
Well, they always get, and it makes total sense. I'm not judging anyone from whatever company that says that this is a great way to get into it.
Yeah,
absolutely. But the thing I think that gets overlooked is how good it is to expand an existing system.
Yes.
When I can't remember the module now, but someone was saying, I just need a second voice, really simple. What oscillator, filter, and things should I get? And I was like, well, just buy a synth voice. They're like beginner things. I'm like, well, not when it's the same. Which is why I asked if it's exactly the same circuit as the other modules, and all you need is a simple voice.
It's not exactly the same, but it's very close.
Yeah. I mean, it's not an SH5 based oscillator. It's still based on the same.
Yeah.
But to condense it down and just have, or maybe you want to do some kind of polyphonic thing.
Yeah.
Where a few of those would make sense.
Yeah. And it is, especially if you're running out of room as well. Like it's as far as we go, it's quite a compact module.
Yeah. Well, they're packed in. It's not. I think compact is fair.
Yeah.
Totally fair. Let's take a listen. Sounds like a Roland synth.
It does sound very Rolandy, and I think a lot of what people buy these modules for is that classic sound, and it's right there. You can hear it.
I'll be honest,
please.
I'm quite straight with this stuff, but we sat here with you from Roland, but I'm surprised other companies haven't just gone, you know what, you want our sound in this format, here it is. Mm-hmm. I'm still shocked that other big synth brands haven't just gone, here is one of our voices built on our original schematics.
Sure.
Because the Euro world's full of people cloning stuff. You've been able to get flavours of this for a long time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess you're 100% right. There's a lot of kind of different.
And there are reasons that these big companies don't scale down to the same economies that two guys or one guy in a back bedroom making Eurorack modules is. But it's nice to just kind of officially say, here we are.
And it's from like the having that, we made the original. We have the schematics. We have this, that knowledge base to not just clone but replicate.
Yeah, and I think that's the excitement of working with Moleco, because then it ties all sides of it.
Yeah.
All the heritage and the kind of assets of the company.
Yeah.
And someone doing really good work in that format already.
Yeah.
And it just completely kind of
and such nice guys. Plug.
Moleco. Oh yeah. Great to work with. They were actually, just so we're thinking about it, Moleco were one of the first people to have a real serious supportive chat about supporting people like me with what we do.
Oh, cool.
When I sort of said, look, I want to go for this and do it, people are aware that I get paid to work with modular companies, and that's why I put so many videos out. People are aware of this. It's not, it's not a new thing, but they were one of the first that were really nice to say,
to reach out.
Yeah. That we do.
High five to Moleco.
Yeah. Anna and Josh and Ben, they do good work.
Yeah. Let's change this to a different sequence.
Yeah, can we get something that stays a bit lower? in pitch without jumping a couple of octaves, or we can audition it and see.
How about?
I'm as low as I can go octave-wise. If we can jump down trouser flapper, that could be our project. If duality doesn't work out, we could be trouser flapper.
Trouser flapper. I mean, I got no more jokes on that.
You say with an accent, it could be like a new German techno duo.
Right. I'm
not going to try the accent because it's really offensive. Yeah. But it could be.
And I think between us, we have probably a really diverse range of accents already.
Yeah. Bradfordian. Can we mix into this? So we get signal ins, they normal across the filter, so we can still mix across.
Yeah, for sure. So the signal ins, like as you say, you've got these inputs at the start. As soon as you plug in here, it defeats the hardwired. Okay. So you can patch in and out, or in and around, and bring stuff back in if you like to both the filter and the VCA.
Yeah, let's try some audio array stuff. Have we got something to split pitch? I could do it in this actually.
Yep.
Just do it passively, it'll be fine. Yep. Never tuning's not important.
Tuning.
You don't need to tune.
You never heard of drones, mate?
That would be the t-shirt that you'd wear in duality before trouser flaps.
Right. Wow. Nice. Yeah.
So we do have a chorus delay. It's a fast delay line meant to be a chorus.
Yes.
Right. As opposed
essentially.
to long.
But
can we push it? Can it be kind of pushed into delay like?
If anyone can do it, you can, mate.
Yeah. See, I like the reason I ask. I really like when like PT delay chips and BBD delay chips and all this. That when the technologies push the point of it, just go.
Yeah. Freak out mode.
Yeah. Let's go a bit more FM.
Yeah. Get them bells out.
So that's the thing with FM. It's one of those, like, it's great for all the bell tone stuff, but that's pretty kind of subtractive. Nearly Knight Rider thing.
Yeah. Oh, someone needs to do a kit module. Showing my age.
That called the Hasselhoff. So what would be nice is getting that FM not playing the same sequence.
Oh, right.
Maybe through some sample and hold.
Yes.
The gate's already in a splitter, right?
Yes.
So if we split a copy of the gate into clock the sample and hold, external clock, give you that.
Yep.
And
what's
clock out, sample and hold out. So, right, get that into the pitch.
And what's fun? Yeah, there you go.
So we've effectively got this. Now controlled by total randomness.
Yep.
But it should make for a nice FM source.
Oh yeah, there's a really sweet spot in there somewhere. I heard it.
There was that one note.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one.
that one.
Maybe if the inverted envelope does something to the pitch of this.
Just needs the kick drum.
Yeah, that's it, right? You put a kick over it and a ton of reverb.
Move to Berlin. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a sucker for those little high range percussive blip blops.
I mean, we've not used a lot of it, and there's a ton of range in there in terms of the potential of it. It's dying. Joking aside, it's dying for a kick and some reverb on it.
Yeah. No, exactly. No, exactly right. Yeah, no, it is. It's a very well thought through range of tools. Because what it gives you the basics. You know, you got your really nice sounding oscillators, various filters, but then you have these like quite interesting utility devices. The lag, sample and hold. Using the lag time on the sample and hold module is super fun. And then just a couple of like little quirks like the inverted envelope and stuff like that to keep things like really interesting. But at the core, your building blocks are solid because it's those classic Roland 100, 700 sounds to work with. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, that's the first video that we've been talking about working together is the kind of utility block, the 555, which I can overlay an image of in the edit. But like you said, it's all those building blocks that I think are generally, not by everyone, but generally unexplored. Yeah. The kind of utility side of things, I think, is the beauty of the system, really.
It's how you go from...
It's how you stop it sounding like another synth, effectively.
Yeah.
So, any other, like, as we kind of wrap up, is there any kind of favourite patches you want to pull from? I've been pulling from a few of my Boxer Silly Tricks with some of the daft sounds and FM.
Well, at home, what I really like to do is throw a whole bunch of triggers into it from the TRAS because it's got great trigger outputs and a drum machine. You know how you were saying just needs a kick and a snare and some reverb?
Well, then, there it is.
TRAS, you run this straight into the audio inputs. You can get sidechain compression, chuck all your percussive stuff on it, and it just really gives you a big playable interface to...
There'd be an interesting set, I think, in synthesizing a load of percussion and putting it into the 8S.
Yes.
So that ultimately this is the whole thing, but you've made your own little sample pack of kicks and noises and things like that.
But no, it's great because you can like loop stuff and use the step loop function and all of that.
Favourite pairings, I thought was an interesting thing to ask you. As a Eurorack user, this, you talked about the 8S, but other modules, what do you see as the not what's missing, because it depends on what you want to do with it. Of course. Sure. I said a spring reverb would be nice, for example. Yeah. What other things do you like to pair with it?
Personally, I like the Roland stuff is great because it gives you this backbone of just really solid stuff. So then I'd like to add some little bits and pieces over there. I'm a huge fan of the mutable instruments modules. Mm-hmm. Marbles is a fun one to play with this on. I learned a lot from your marbles video. So
it's long enough.
Thank you very much. It's long enough, and of course, make noise. I'm a big also.
I guess jumping completely away from not the Roland sound because you've got it here, but the things that aren't trying to be these are maybe the more interesting.
That's
pairings.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And make noise are very different. Sonic territory, control territory.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're looking to have like an arsenal of sounds, and you want that Roland sound, because it's a great sound. Here you go. But it complements so well if you've got some kind of something a bit weirder and you just want some really solid bass lines or some nice kind of moving percussive moving pads or whatever. Then this has kind of got you covered, and then you can throw the weird stuff on top.
The in between bits are the real beauty of it for me. So we're at a more West Coast, if you like, Bucharest, Surgis, FME kind of tone. Yeah. That through low pass gates would be very nice. It's kind of what I'm doing with a filter. I'm not using a VCA, I'm just closing the filter very fast without any resonance.
Freaking lasers.
But just, generally, I think that would be where I would look to, and it's something I want to explore in the demos that we do.
Yes.
Using this as is,
Yeah.
but then pairings as well.
I can't wait to see that demo, man.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on and talking to me.
Hey, thank you. Yeah.
I mean, this came from, we spoke, but we were going to work together on some content, and I thought it would be nice to actually sit and chat. And the fact that you use Eurorack as well.
I do.
And it's some nice patches on your Instagram.
Thank you.
And that, we should explore the system. So yeah, watch out for those videos. Coming soon. Cool. What?